Good morning. Last week we looked at examples of some scroll art from some Japanese artists. We also talked about how dragons can mean different things in different cultures. So in European cultures, right, they're seen as bad in a way, where in many Asian cultures they're seen as good luck or they represent wisdom. And we can think about those same things for other mythical creatures. So, like unicorns or mermaids or anything like that. So, mermaids is a good example. To some people, mermaids are kind of like sirens and they call sailors to their death. They kind of like tempt them, drown them. But in other examples, mermaids are just these beautiful creatures, right? So where you are, what you think kind of changes how you picture these creatures. We used transparent materials, meaning you can see through them, watercolor, washable markers, and did a cloud-like painting. And it should be dry and ready to go right now. And what we're going to do is you're going to look at this cloud-like picture and figure out what kind of creature, and it could be mythical, like a dragon or a mermaid or a griffin or something like that, but it does not have to be. And you could make up your own new mythical creature too. That's perfectly okay. So starting to look at it, it's kind of daunting to try to figure out what everything is. So I think the easiest way to do this, to start figuring out what your image is to use your iPad to take a picture of it. So let me share my screen so you can see me doing this. Let me share my iPad. Okay, so you can go to your camera. And I already took one picture. You can take it any direction that makes sense, or that you want to try first. You could always rotate this later on your iPad, or you could always just change it up. You could try in all different directions. So you could try it that way, or you could try it that way. Whatever works. So once you have it, go ahead, just make it fill most of your screen. The easiest way to go ahead and start being able to draw on this to help figure out your ideas is just to screenshot it. If you don't know how to screenshot, you're going to use that round button at the bottom of the screen and the power button on the back, and you just tap them both at the same time quickly. You could just click onto that screenshot and you'll be able to start drawing. Now, you can look at the shapes and forms you see in this cloud-like painting and start with those. And then you could add from there. Now, you do not have to fit the whole creature if you do not have room. So maybe if you see just a face, you could start with that. So you could always adjust these later on too, but I kind of see like an eye there, and then maybe this is a dragon, and maybe right here is fire coming out. Now, you want to go ahead, plan this on your iPad, because it is kind of hard to plan this on your paper first, because if you don't like what you do, you want to be able to change it, obviously. So just work the best you can at figuring out what you want this to be. You could make more than one of these and kind of go back and look. So done, save to photos. And I can just do the same thing again and just do a bunch of quick sketches. Once again, you can kind of change this around if you want to. You could kind of picture from different directions, try to figure out what you want it to be. But come up with your idea or a few, and then you can decide which one you want to do. Once you decide which one you want to do, and actually I'm gonna flip this around. And so actually I'm gonna go ahead and get out of there. Done, delete screenshot. I'm gonna go ahead and click edit, and I'm gonna rotate this. Click on that bottom one up in the top left corner. That's like the rectangle with an arrow above it that turns it. And I'm gonna flip it this way, click done, tap, and then I'm gonna screenshot this. And I'm going to try this way instead. So once you have your idea, you will either use pencil, marker, you could use paint again, and you're going to re-put the outlines of that creature. You can add in more details too, to kind of make it the way you want it. Okay, I'm kind of seeing a beak here. A big eye. So this is some sort of like weird bird head. Could be a highlight in the eye. And then I could go back and make these look like feathers maybe. So just play with it, see what you come up with. You can save as many as you want. I could try doing it vertical. Do it. Try it this way. And once again, you can kind of start with shapes. If you want to like outline some shapes you see first. So there's like a shape up here. There's a darker one here. Kind of outline shapes and then maybe figure out from there what you can turn it into. You don't have to use all those shapes, but that might help you kind of start to figure out what you want to make. There's that one. So decide which one you like, and then what you're going to do is you're going to draw that onto your paper. All right, so here's my paper. I can be looking at what I chose to draw on my iPad the same time I'm doing this. Now I'm going to start with pencil, and then I'm going to go back over with Sharpie or paint. So you can kind of pick whichever you think would work better. And think about details that you can add here. Think about areas where you could add in some texture. Actually, I like this area over here too. Maybe that's one eye and this is the other. Which kind of makes up here a little weird. So maybe I have to adjust this so that more of this is mouth. If higher, maybe. So I think maybe I'll abandon the idea of fire, except maybe this little red part. So this is why you're using pencil first, because your idea totally might change. And I'm going to use this curve to be part of what I'm imagining the body to be. So it's going to come here, here, here. And I'm just going to add what would be like the underbelly kind of area and have it go off. Okay, so what I want to kind of be the underbelly, I'm going to add lines to. Okay. I could add scales randomly in these other areas. And once again, what you're going to use here is up to you. So I think I'm going to use Sharpie. Or I might use a washable marker, and then what I could do from there is similar to the technique we used last time, smear part of that around. So if you have, you'll probably want a darker colored one. So probably either blue or black would work. I think I'm gonna stick with blue because I already have so much blue in my artwork here, and kind of add to that idea here. I'm not sure about this area. I'm not sure how to adjust it right now. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just work. I'm gonna outline the lines I put. I'll probably use water to go back, add some details. You do wanna be careful if you're adding more paint or marker, washable marker to it, because it might start to smear some of your other lines you've already created. So if you don't want that to happen, obviously be careful. So I'm just going to rub and smear just the edges of the dragon. And this is completely optional to you. If you use Sharpie, you won't be able to do this, but that's great if you don't want lines, if you want lines that aren't going to smear, if you do want some areas to. All right, so that's how I'm going to leave my dragon. I went over some areas and it did make it more blue. I'm going to leave what's supposed to be kind of this under part of the belly just lined like that. Now, once this dries, I can go back and erase all the pencil lines that are still showing, so they're no longer a part of this artwork, but that's how this is going to work. So come up with your idea. You could use Sharpie, it won't smear. You could use Sharpie and washable marker. So some areas you can blend like this, some you could leave solid. You could use pen, you could use color pencil and build up that color on top of the watercolor paint we already did. Whatever you want to try. If you did use pencil first, just make sure you at some point go back and erase those lines if you can still see them. So not all of mine I completely traced, so I want to erase those ones. The ones you traced, you don't see anymore, so that's fine. But if you can still see some of those lines and you don't want to see them, go ahead and remember to go back to erase them. So that is our project, our creatures in the clouds. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Don't get rid of these pictures. We are going to need them next class as well, okay? See you then. Bye.